Welcome to episode 4 of A Latte's Vision. We got a lot of things we're going to be going over, with things featured such as the latest update on Bianca Belair, an update on Roxanne Perez, Vikings trade rumors, and the mystery box from Raw. And there is so much more, but let's get right into it. Kicking it off with the mystery box from Raw. I made an entire video about this on Wednesday, and the most likely solution I came up with was Royce Keys. Now, yes, he hasn't been featured on Raw or SmackDown since debuting in the Royal Rumble, which is crazy, and I'm really worried about him, but I'm trusting that WWE figures it out and starts doing something with him, because he left AEW reportedly because of the way he was booked. And now, if they're booking him even worse in WWE, that is not good. And I'm hoping that maybe the reason he hasn't been on Raw or SmackDown is because they have something bigger planned for him like this. However, if we reach Elimination Chamber and he hasn't been on Raw or SmackDown and he isn't revealed to come out of this box, I'm going to be so worried. I also suggested that another very likely outcome for this is Chris Jericho or a WrestleMania ad or something with Triple H busting out of the box saying, "It's the start of a new era." Next, Jada Parker, who just returned about a month ago, I think, is out with a neck injury. I'm not laughing at the fact that she has a neck injury. That's obviously very concerning, and neck injuries are no joke. It's just, she came back, she was gone for months, and she comes back and gets injured right away. Hopefully this isn't a Piper Niven situation, or God forbid a Big E situation. Obviously pretty detrimental to the women's division because she had a lot of momentum coming back, but hope Jada Parker gets well soon. Next, the EST Bianca Belair got finger surgery on Wednesday, I believe it was, or no, it was Tuesday. Tuesday she got surgery. She made a post on her Instagram story of her beginning physical therapy, and she was crying in the video, and it's so sad to see because people originally thought maybe this would keep her out for like a couple months. It's been almost a year at this point. And I can't imagine how much this is affecting her because she doesn't get to do what she loves in wrestling. And she just constantly isn't able to fully recover. But hopefully after this surgery, it helps speed up the healing process. And hopefully she can be back in time for WrestleMania. And hope she gets well as soon as possible. Last injury of the day, Roxanne Perez. Last week it was reported that she had, or maybe it was earlier this week, I'm not sure, but it was reported that she wasn't on Raw, and nobody knew why until it was revealed that she had undergone surgery to remove a benign mass on her back. Luckily, like I just said, it was benign, so it wasn't cancerous or anything, but super glad she got that removed, and she seems to be recovering fine. Hope she gets well as soon as possible as well. Next, WWE has officially announced Clash in Italy for May 31st, 2026 on a Sunday. Why do the Clash in blank always seem to be on Sundays? It's weird. Like Clash in Paris last year was on a Sunday. I don't understand. But I'm excited for this. First ever WWE Premium Live event in Italy, and obviously international crowds are always great. I'm super excited to see if this is like one of the best crowds we've ever seen. Either way, we know it's at least going to be better than these dog shit American crowds. I think it would be really awesome if they had Santino Marella at this event in some sort of way. I feel like they need to, right? They absolutely need to, and I'm super excited for this event. It is the next PLE after Backlash, and yeah, I can't wait to see this. Per Fightful Select, Chris Jericho is firmly under contract with AEW, and the belief among those around Jericho and within AEW is that his deal was frozen after he took time off in 2025. Now, he took about 8 months off in 2025, I believe. So it's starting to seem like he maybe got that added on to the end of his contract, which I thought it was just if he was injured that would get added on, but maybe it's just if he takes time off, it gets added on to the end of his contract. I'm not exactly sure. Everybody thought it ended on December 31st. He's still currently on the AEW roster page, so I don't know if he's even going to come to WWE sometime this year. This whole Chris Jericho situation is just so confusing. I don't get it. Hopefully he is able to come back to WWE sometime before he retires, though. Next, we had 4 brand new people who qualified for the Elimination Chambers. Starting off with Javon Evans and Asuka. I cannot wait to see what Javon Evans does in this. We all know he's going to do something absolutely insane. I would love to see a frog splash off the top of the pod, RVD to Triple H style. There's also rumors that Brock Lesnar is going to be in the chamber and take out someone during their entrance. And it better not be Javon Evans, but also, if they really do have LA Knight versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, I'm going to lose my mind. And not in a good way. But I can't wait to see what Javon Evans does in the chamber. Asuka in the chamber, probably unlikely that she wins it, but, she's got to be a contender because she's Asuka. And, if she's able to win the chamber and Liv Morgan still hasn't picked anyone at that point, and she picks Stephanie Vaquero versus Asuka would be an incredible match. Although Jade versus Liv Morgan probably would not be a very good match. Asuka versus Jade maybe wouldn't be terrible, but I don't think it would be like a 5-star match. So probably unlikely that she wins, but still good to have her in the chamber. And I think out of the people in that match, that was the right decision. On the SmackDown side of things, we had Cody Rhodes and Alexa Bliss. Cody Rhodes, I don't think was the right choice at all. I'm being honest. I think it should have been Sami Zayn. The last 5 minutes of that match, though, were incredible. It was so adrenaline filled and so unpredictable. There was so many false finishes, and it made Sami Zayn look like a complete and utter idiot. Because instead of taking advantage of Cody Rhodes being down, he hit a Helluva kick on Drew McIntyre and then got put in a crossroads and lost. So, it just made Sami Zayn look so stupid. I think Sami Zayn should have won, like I said. I don't know if I said that or not. But Cody Rhodes, it should have been Cody versus Jacob versus Drew at Elimination Chamber, I think. And then they could have had Randy win the chamber, Cody win the title, and then Cody versus Randy at Mania. Now I'm starting to doubt that they're actually ever going to do Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, because it felt like a really good opportunity, a really good layup for them to do. Imagine that combo of WrestleMania main events. Night 2, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Night 1, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. That would be an incredible 1-2 punch of WrestleMania main events. But now it looks like that's extremely unlikely, and I'm really, really worried that Cody Rhodes is going to win the chamber now, because they obviously don't ever want Cody Rhodes to take any pins, even though it's not going to affect him if he does. Maybe if Brock Lesnar is in the chamber, maybe he can take out Cody Rhodes. Who knows? But I don't really want to see that feud again. I swear, if they just run Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania again without Jacob Fatu even, oh my god, that would be bad. Even if they do like a Hell in a Cell, it's still they've been feuding for 6 months, man. Nobody really wants to see them go against each other again. None of their matches were particularly great except the 3 stages of Hell match. I don't think anybody wants to see this feud continue. If they don't have Jacob Fatu in it, if they're insistent on having Cody Rhodes go after the title for a 3rd year in a row, if they don't add Jacob Fatu, that would just be the biggest fumble ever. or one of the biggest fumbles ever. I just really hope it's not Cody versus Drew one-on-one. Next, Alexa Bliss also qualified against Julia and Zelina Vega. I think this was the right decision. Zelina Vega isn't really worthy of being in the chamber. I don't think she wouldn't really be a threat to win it all. At least I don't think. And Julia, it doesn't really make sense. She has a little bit of history with Jade Cargill, but she should just be trying to focus on getting title defenses for the United States title, and she seems to be in the tag division apparently too, so it wouldn't really make sense for her to be in there or win it. So I think Alexa Bliss was the correct choice. I think maybe we could get Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Maybe just Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair. I'm not exactly sure, but I think this was the right decision. This right here is interesting. Michael Cole announced WWE will pay tribute to AJ Styles on next week's episode of Raw. It was also reported that AJ Styles was seen at the WWE PC, the Performance Center, yesterday. Or on Wednesday. Wednesday. And it's reported that he's supposed to be there for this tribute. So could we see AJ Styles potentially unretire? I don't think it's completely out the window. It was said that they were trying to work out an extension because his contract ended on February 1st. They said they didn't get an extension, and maybe they did. Maybe this is an R-Truth situation, except he's not actually. Except this time, he is actually under contract, unlike what happened with R-Truth. And it's all part of the show, maybe. But yeah, they could have an extension that we don't know about. They could bring up the fact that AJ Styles made Gunther tap out, which, if the match ended properly like that, it would have never led to his retirement, at least in kayfabe. He, of course, on Stephanie McMahon's What's Your Story podcast said never say never when it came to a return in the ring, and it's not seeming very likely that he's going to AEW or TNA. I saw somebody say maybe they could bring up that he made Gunther tap out, and that could make Gunther so mad that he comes out and interrupts AJ Styles maybe and challenges him to a match at WrestleMania. I could totally see that happening. I mean, Gunther is currently feuding with Dragon Lee, so that's obviously AJ Styles' most recent tag partner. So I don't think that's completely out the window. Let me know what you think could potentially happen here with this episode, or what could happen with this tribute. Do you think AJ Styles could unretire? I'm not really sure. I'm just excited to tune in for the show. I'm excited to see the show. It's going to be the start of a new era. Next, the Vikings and Colts have the framework for an Anthony Richardson trade. He will be a Viking in 2026. Apparently, this guy's an expert. He knows Anthony Richardson's going to be a Viking. Apparently, he has some insider information that we don't. Mr. Adam Farrell. It is feral that you would even say that, because why would the Vikings trade for Anthony Richardson? It doesn't make any sense. What can Anthony Richardson do that J.J. McCarthy can't? I would much rather have J.J. McCarthy over Anthony Richardson. They both have the same issues. Accuracy. That is the same issue that they both have, and they both are frequently getting injured. They're basically the same. Why would the Vikings trade for a quarterback who frequently gets injured and has accuracy issues when they already have that exact thing? It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why these rumors even started. It really does not make any earthly sense to me. Like I said, I think J.J. McCarthy is better. I think he's showed more flashes of light than Anthony Richardson has. The Vikings should bring in competition, but it shouldn't be someone like this. It should be an older veteran guy. And if they trade for a quarterback, it should be Joe Burrow. It's that simple. Let me know your thoughts on this, though. Should the Vikings trade for Anthony Richardson? Next, the Titans are rumored to have a new logo. The helmet, first of all, the helmet is absolute garbage. Like, what is that? The Titans are supposed to be blue, not white and red. The logo itself isn't bad, but the helmet is horrible. I like the Oilers blue. The helmet should have been much more blue. I get it, they're trying to make it look like the Oilers helmets, but let's leave those in the past. There is a reason that they aren't their uniforms anymore, or that that's not their helmets anymore. Let me know what you think of this potential change, though. I just found this out in the middle of me recording this, but the Bears are expected to announce their intentions to build their stadium in Northwest Indiana. Now, first of all, why? But second of all, are they going to change their name to the Indiana Bears? Because if so, that's kind of a stupid name, I'm not going to lie. Indiana already has the Colts. Why are the Bears moving there? At least they're finally getting themselves a new stadium, because Soldier Field is horrible. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. Also, just found this out. Night of Champions 2026 is tentatively scheduled to take place in Saudi Arabia on June 27th. Of course, last week it was reported that they would have 2 more PLEs in Saudi Arabia this year. And it's looking like that is obviously the case. It's seeming like they're going to have Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia every year, because last year it was in Saudi Arabia too, in 2025. This is getting concerning. I don't think anybody wants to have every single PLE in Saudi Arabia. I don't think they should go to a different country more than once a year. This is a huge problem with TKO owning WWE. They're just hungry for as much money as they can possibly get. It's going to get to the point where they're in Saudi Arabia more than they're in the US, it seems like. Saudi Night of Champions last year was obviously awesome, and the crowd was one of the best ever, but I don't want to see every single PLE in Saudi Arabia. That might just be me, though. Let me know what you think. Sorry for the bad quality picture, but Allegiant Stadium announces WrestleMania 42 tickets will be 25% off starting until next Monday. Or starting today until next Monday, and this was on February 13th, so the deal's already over. But I think TKO and WWE are finally starting to see the issues with having your tickets be like $1,000 to get the nosebleeds in like a 50,000+ seat stadium. And I really hope during this deal not too many people bought tickets, because WWE needs to realize how bad the pricing is. They need to permanently bring these prices down. Everybody knows ticket pricing is a huge issue within the WWE in the past 2-3 years. And it's gotten to a point where it's almost comical how pricey these tickets are. It's laughable. They are pricing out the diehard fans. They are getting rid of people having the potential of becoming lifelong wrestling fans because they went to their first wrestling show when they were a little kid and got to high-five Cody Rhodes. Nobody's going to be able to do that anymore, because kids can't get in the front row, because nobody can afford those tickets except people who make insane amounts of money. And it's not just me saying it, it's Santi's app saying it, it's the entire internet wrestling community saying it. I've mentioned before in the past couple videos, I'm going to SummerSlam in 2026 because it's in Minneapolis and I live in Minnesota. Going to a Big 2 WWE premium live event is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I got so lucky that I became a wrestling fan before it came to Minneapolis. But at this rate, we're going to be sitting in the nosebleeds. Hopefully the prices aren't as bad, because Minneapolis isn't really a huge market like Las Vegas or New York. But this is just insane, and everybody knows this needs to be addressed. And it's not like we're getting more because people are paying more. We're getting less and paying more. PLEs are usually 5 matches. And the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber, War Games, things like those are 4 matches. For like $700 just to get in the arena. It's just ridiculous. Prices need to go down, and we need more matches on PLEs. I originally liked the 5-match PLEs, but it's not enough at this point. Having to pay for ESPN, all that stuff, it's not worth it. We should have 6 or 7-match PLEs at least. Next, Sol Ruca is set for a slight character refresh and ahead of a potential move to the WWE main roster, including the introduction of a new theme song. And I mean, her current theme song, this is so concerning because her current theme song, it's not the best, but it's a good theme song. It's good. It fits her character. It fits her gimmick of like a Hawaiian surfer girl. I don't think I even really need to explain why this is concerning because they just def rebelled their women's world champion. And Sol Ruca is very clearly the future of the women's wrestling division. Just WWE, please do not def rebel her. Next, I mean, this is just comical at this point. Ric Flair says he's dropping a new album soon. First of all, I didn't know he even made music, thankfully. I believe I covered this last week on Latte's Vision 2. He said that he still has one more match in him, I think. Which, I mean, dude, he's in his 70s. And his last match in 2024 or 2025, I think it was, in this photo, it was a disaster. He just does not know when to call it quits. Give it up, man. I get that wrestling is addicting, but just give it up, please. You are just doing nothing but hurting your legacy at this point. And I'm not trying to hate on Ric Flair, but, I mean, just give it up, dude. Next, the most important news story of them all. Larry, CM Punk and AJ Lee's dog, who is unfortunately deceased, is going to be in WWE 2K26 as a manager card in my faction, which is just awesome. I am the biggest dog lover you'll ever meet, probably. And Larry absolutely deserves it. I think he should be an option as a manager in my GM mode. I think that would be awesome if you could be Larry as the manager. Obviously, hope Larry is happy, and of course, rest in peace. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of A Latte's Vision. Let me know your thoughts on anything that I talked about. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want, and